Hey everyone, happy Wednesday. I'm here with you solo this week and talking a little bit about food and your body um, and how this time of year really impacts our relationship with all of that stuff. So, welcome and thanks for joining. This is part of my regular Hump Day hiatus interview series that I do every Wednesday at noon here on Facebook Live. And typically, I'll be here with someone else from somewhere in the world, chatting all about different ways that you can start to heal your relationship with food and your body, rooted in a body trust approach or body trust practice. And so each month we have a theme where we chat around a different core element of a body trust practice. And there are 9 core elements in a body trust practice. This month, we've been focusing on the element that speaks to um, kind of relating to ourselves and looking towards ourselves with more kindness and curiosity. And I just thought that this tied in really well with the holidays and offers us a bit of a different way that we can start to approach our relationship with food and our body. So I think maybe I'll start talking about some of the messaging around food that's out there around the holidays. So it kind of is in 2 parts, really. So we have, the kind of Christmas season for those who celebrate, and then as an extension of that, but quite different, is the New Year's resolution saga. And so we have with the holidays, the first part of this, there's all sorts of conversation around, indulging and enjoying and, kind of going overboard with what we're consuming, and it's really kind of glorified as well. I have heard people talking about, how they're not eating certain things right now because they're saving themselves for the holidays. And our bodies don't work like that. Just like to put that out there. Your body doesn't know that, if you don't feed it enough energy, enough food that you need to function, well and with some ease on a day-to-day basis for a month or so leading up to the holidays, and then go ham on everything that you see before you, your body does not do that math. It doesn't say, oh, okay, so we'll make do with what we've got now, and that'll make up the difference for what we're lacking right now with what we're going to do, in 2 weeks, 3 weeks, whenever it is from now, when the time rolls around to, start going to your holiday functions and gatherings and all that sort of stuff. So it doesn't work like that. But all of this talk around indulging really actually, quite frankly, pisses me off, because it's not a bad thing to give ourselves, allow ourselves, offer ourselves things that bring us joy, things that bring us pleasure, and make us feel good, right? Like it's not a bad thing. But we've really done a number on our beliefs around it, so that we actually truly think that, we're bad people when we don't stick to our guns about the rules that we've created for ourselves around what we are and aren't going to eat. And so I think that's kind of the first place to start, really, right? Is what are the beliefs that you have? What is it that you're telling yourself about um, your behaviors around food and how you're going to engage with it over the holidays? And how is this impacting the sense of worth that you feel in yourself, right? Because at the end of the day, eating is eating. And whatever we choose to eat, however we choose to do it, whenever we choose to do it, has no bearing whatsoever on our morality as people, has no bearing on our worth, has nothing to do with our value. And yet again, another belief that we have, a lot of us have, is that when we eat things that are unhealthy for us, we're bad. And when we stay the course and don't fall off the wagon and follow the rules, right, we're virtuous, we're good people. And this is a really, really damaging talk and rhetoric, right? Because it really forces us to either heavily or moderately restrict what we're putting into our bodies. And the research shows us that anytime there's a restriction, it's followed by a binge. And so it's no shock, right, that individuals who are saying, oh, no, 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 I'm not going to eat all of this stuff and I'm going to be good up until the holidays, we haven't allowed ourselves pleasure. We haven't allowed ourselves a lot of enjoyment from our food. And so we just, try to get it all. And as much as we can in a short period of time. And then afterwards, we're supposed to punish ourselves in a sense and, paying penance for our behavior over the holidays and indulging by then going on a diet or an exercise routine, making some sort of plan with the new year to go back to our restricting ways in an attempt to try to control or change the size and shape of our body. And for anyone out there who has gone through this cycle, right, that eventually that plan fails as well. Because again, with restrictions, right, there comes a binge. And when we tell ourselves that we're not to have something or we can't have something, we just think about it more, right? We obsess about it. There's a great meme that's been going around social media, and it's I can't remember who did it or who put it out there, but it's basically, there's kind of two options. There's, I want a cookie and I'm not going to have a cookie. And then you go down, right? And once you get to the bottom of the meme, there's four things that you've eaten. And then finally you've had a box of cookies, right? On the other side, there's, I want a cookie, straight down to, I had a cookie, right? And so myself included, there's been so many points in my life and times where I would be craving something and judge myself for the craving, blame myself. I'm a bad person. I shouldn't want this. I know better, right? And then I will go and find, or would go and find, like a healthier alternative to this thing that I'm not supposed to have for some reason. And I would have that and then still wouldn't be satisfied. So then I would go find something else, still not satisfied. And then finally, you go and you have the thing, but you've spent so much time resisting that you feel out of control about it, right? And you just kind of feel like you go crazy over this one thing. And that really is what happens and what we do to ourselves over and over and over again with each plan, with each diet, and especially the super strict ones that don't allow any flexibility or any room in space life to happen. right? Our schedules change, something comes up, we don't have the time that we had before, and right, instead of saying, well, this plan doesn't really work for me, this isn't meant to fit me and where I'm at right now, we blame ourselves. It's our fault, right? We didn't have enough willpower, we fell off the wagon, got to get back on. And it really does a zinger on our self-worth and how we view ourselves. And so I strongly, strongly urge you to offer yourself a little kindness and curiosity this holiday season. So instead of making rules or instead of making a plan, observe yourself and what you do around food and what you're drawn to, what you're not. Maybe get a little more curious about why might that be or not, right? And allow yourself to enjoy. Allow yourself to have what it is that you're craving or you're desiring. And it doesn't always have to be right for it doesn't always have to be one dimensional. Like we eat for so many different reasons. It's not just purely for physical nourishment, right? Food nourishes us on so many different levels. And that's okay, right? Like you're allowed to eat something because it tastes good and you're not hungry. That's totally fine. I love Ellen Satter's definition of normal eating. It's ELLYNSATTER. And she talks about all the different scenarios in which we've created shame around eating in our culture and says, no, like that's totally normal, right? Even if we're not hungry, we'll be out at a social gathering and everyone else is eating. And so we eat too. Like that's the circumstance. That's okay. We're not bad people. We don't need to berate ourselves during or afterwards because of the choices that we've made. It's all welcome and it's all okay. So, over the holidays, right, and a time where stress is higher, regardless of what's going on, can you offer yourself a little more kindness and curiosity instead of judgment, blame, and shame? How can we be with ourselves in kinder ways? I know for myself, it can be really helpful at times where I'm having those, shameful thoughts and blaming myself for things that I've done or haven't done, to kind of package those thoughts and feelings, however they're showing up for me, and kind of set them off to the side, just beside me. Sometimes I may have a conversation with them. Sometimes I just need to kind of create a little distance between myself and them. And then I ask myself, what is it that I'm needing right now? Right? What is it that would feel good and supportive for me right now? Not those thoughts and those feelings, right? That had arisen from a shame and blame driven place, right? So set those aside, but what am I actually needing? So it helps us get a little bit more to the essence of who we are, connect in with that place, and make choices from there, as opposed to making choices from a place of feeling guilty, of feeling shameful, of feeling bad, of feeling like a failure, right? We set those aside, separate them from us, because they're not us, right? Those are our beliefs that are informing that, the critics that we have that live inside of our heads. And I say critics because most of us have plural, multiple, and really make space for ourselves to show up and be seen and be fed, right? What is it that we need? And I know for some people it's there's a little bit more of a stern approach that they take, with the critic, those negative thoughts, and right, those things that sabotage where it is that we are, where we want to go. But for me, it's really helpful to take a bit more of a kinder approach and offer compassion to those feelings as well, right? Because they're there from somewhere in my life, some moment in time where I picked those up, and they may have been helpful at some point. They may have been something that helped me to get through a tough moment. And so for me, it doesn't really feel right to be, dismissive of those. I like to kind of sit them beside me as if they were, a friend, and they've got needs as well, but they don't need to exist in my body. They can be over there, and then I can address my needs. And I think the other thing that I would like to add is that, um, you know, be gentle with yourself, be kind to yourself. Um, there's so many tough situations and circumstances that we all go through at this time of year. And we don't need to add more blame, more angst, um, more shame, right, to the situation. We don't need to make things harder for ourselves. And so know that, that voice is going to come up because we all have it. And that's okay. This work isn't about getting rid of that voice. It's not about banishing it and never hearing from it again. It's about working with it in a bit of a different way so that it doesn't take a hold on us and continue to impact the rest of the moments in our day. And we can kind of turn to it and say, yeah, you know what, that's not really helpful right now. I kind of see what you're trying to do, and I'm here, and I'm enjoying myself, and this is okay, right? This is where I'm at. This is what's happening, and this is how I'm choosing to take care of myself right now. This is what's available to me, and that's okay. You don't need to feel shame about the ways that you take care of yourself, or the ways that you don't, right? Some days we show up for ourselves and some days we don't have the capacity. There's a lot of stuff going on, and that's totally okay. So be gentle and kind with yourselves, and if it feels right, depending on the circumstance, maybe exert a boundary, right? I don't remember where I heard it, but it stuck with me. Don't comment on someone else's body unless it's something that they can change in 10 seconds or less, right? So if someone at your table has a little food on their face, give them a little, that's fine, but you don't need to ever comment on someone else's body, or your own for that matter. It's just not needed. It's not helpful, right? And 9 times out of 10, it doesn't lift us up. It highlights the areas that we think, are wrong, or make us wrong in our bodies anyway. So, just don't. If you're someone who does make comments on other people's bodies, something to consider, right? If you see it happening and it feels like it's safe and comfortable to do so, maybe let someone else know, like, hey, you know what? Let's not do that today. Let's just be here and enjoy as much as we can, and set the shame and the blaming and all of that aside, right? Not helpful. Not helpful at all. So that was kind of all that I wanted to share today. I also would like to let folks know that I'm here If there's, something trying that comes up over the holidays and you need someone to talk to, feel free to message me. I respond within a day typically, and I'm always happy to lend an ear and know that however your body shows up is exactly how your body is supposed to show up. There's nothing wrong with you. You're not doing anything wrong. You haven't done anything wrong. And nobody has the right to attempt to make you feel otherwise. There's a Brene Brown quote that has been circulating a little bit in some circles that I'm in over the last week. And it goes something along the lines of, don't puff up, don't shrink, just stand your sacred ground. And the practices that I've shared throughout this chat really help me to stand my sacred ground without apology, without anger, just stand in my essence, strong and true to who I am. And don't puff up, don't shrink, just be there where you are. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to chat. So feel free to message in the feed here from the video, or you can DM me. This is our last interview for 2018. And I'll be back the first week of January. We'll be chatting about the next body trust core element, and I've got some great guests lined up for 2019, so be sure to tune in and share if you'd like. I'm all about the shares. Spread the body love, and we will see you again in 2019, same time, same place, Wednesdays at noon. If you'd like, you can sign up for my newsletter and get your free guides to shedding body shame when you sign up, and you'll get these straight to your inbox. And all of the updates on courses and webinars and things like that I'll be teaching in 2019. Thanks for listening, Michelle. I'm so glad. If you have any other questions, please let me know. Okay, everyone. Well, thank you so much for taking your time and spending it here with me and guests that I've had on the show. And I really look forward to seeing you again in 2019. Thanks so much. Bye.